Hello, how is everybody doing? Um, this is one of the series of videos that I'm going to do about home theater installation and speaker setup, because I noticed that there aren't enough videos out there for people like, like do it ourselves, like me. People out that have money, obviously they can build they pay 50, $100,000 and they can have their home theater built up. But for every Joe that wants to do it by himself and doesn't have that kind of money, it's kind of difficult. So since I've noticed that there aren't enough videos on YouTube, um, I want to start doing some videos. Today, what I want to do is unboxing video of Klipsch in-wall subwoofer. This is the RW5802 in-wall subwoofer, and also I want to do unboxing of Definitive Technology subwoofer amplifier, in-wall subwoofer amplifier. Now, I know what you're going to say. How come you're using a different brand of amplifier with Klipsch? Klipsch sells uh, subwoofer amplifier RSA 500, which lists at around 800 bucks. Um, and it's really hard to get it, lower than that. For some reason, I don't know, that they keep it pretty tight. And no matter where I looked, um, the price is always 800 bucks. And I just think it's a little high. Another reason why I went with this one is because Klipsch uh, can power two subwoofers at the same time. However, they only have 1 amp built in it. So what happens is 1 amp built into the amplifier. So what happens is they listed at 500 watts. No, I'm sorry, 300 watts. But then if you're using two speakers, then obviously you have to split that power in half. Now, it splits into 4 ohms. So they list it as, oh, okay, we get 300 watts into 8 ohms, but then if we split it into 4 ohms, then we have 500 watts. And they say, okay, we split it into, uh, you're sending signal to two speakers, therefore it becomes 8 ohms becomes 4 ohms. So you're sending 4 ohm into the speaker for each speaker, and that gives you 250 watts per speaker. I don't really buy it, and the reason why I don't buy it is because um, these speakers are 8 ohm speakers. They're not 4 ohm speakers, they're 8 ohm speakers. So they can handle 4 ohm load, obviously, but I don't see how do you get um, 500 watts from from into 4 ohms versus 300 watts into 8 ohms. The reason I went with this one is one one thing is a lot cheaper. Um, it lists at around 649, um, and I got this one for 300 bucks. And the good thing about this one is this one actually has two amplifiers built in. So as you can see here, it runs uh, 300 watts per channel. Okay, if you split it, it's going to run 250 um, per channel. So if you only have one subwoofer running, it's going to deliver 300 watts. But if you're going to have two, it's going to deliver 250 per each. And the reason why is because it has 2 amps built in it. Okay? And the reason why it's lower, why it's not 300 per channel, is because this unit has only one transformer. I should say one power supply. And the power supply is probably not strong enough to deliver 300 watts into both channels. Okay? But the good thing is this has two different amps, not two different, I shouldn't say two different, but 2 amps built into the one box, okay? Versus Klipsch only has 1 amp, which what it does is then it splits the signal, from 8 ohms to 4 ohms, and that's how we get more juice. But then again, we're going back to the same thing. If the speakers are not 4 ohms, then you're not really going to have that kind of juice. Well, anyway, let's go back and open this. Let's start with the amp. Amp is pretty heavy by itself. The box looks pretty small, but it seems there's a lot of weight to it. I was actually surprised how heavy this thing was. It's probably as wide as all the audio equipment, 17 inches wide. It will fit into the rack that's 19 inches wide. There's that. It's pretty heavy. I'm surprised. It really is heavy. Okay. Here's the cables, the power, and these are the brackets, I'm assuming, for the rack. 1 and 2. I'm going to move the box away. Let me just make sure the camera sees what it needs to see. Okay. Alright. I'm going to move it a little closer here. Okay. Alright. So I think I have 2 minutes left. I'm going to unpack this baby. Instructions, screws for the brackets. I mean, guys, for such a small box, this thing is super heavy. Alright, so here is the amp right here. That's how it looks like. Subamp 600. Here's, you can see it's brand new, it's still got the film on it. You have crossover, and you have phase, and of course the volume. Wow, this thing is so heavy. Here, as you can see, this you would use as subwoofer out from your receiver. You would connect this LFE. If you didn't have that, then you would use right and left channel. This would automatically power on the amplifier once it senses the signal coming in. So you can leave that on or off. This is for your trigger. So if your receiver supports triggers, you can plug in the trigger and this would automatically turn on when you turn on your receiver. This you would use if you wanted to connect, basically connect, run the wires from your receiver, from your speaker outputs. You would connect this here, level in and then level out. And then this box would pick up the low frequencies and then power the subwoofers. Okay, but the easiest way to do it is just use the LFE. Nowadays all the receivers have this. Connect that, and here is your outputs to your in-wall subwoofers. Okay, right here. It's pretty simple. This is how it looks like. Oh man, I can't believe how heavy this thing